to the Headley Highlight Show's Headley Headspaces. And this headspace is called, Would you trust a man to take the male pill and be in charge of your conception? Let's discuss, shall we? Now, before I jump into would you trust a man to take the male pill and be in charge of your conception, I need to say a huge gratitude thank you to everyone who subscribed to my YouTube channel. Yes, people, I have hit 1,800. Come on, Denise. Come on, girl. Woo! Yes, and every opportunity I have to take those flowers, I will be taking it. Woo! Yes, on my YouTube channel, I now have 1,800 subscribers and I'm moving steadily and consistently towards 2,000. My goal is to get to 2,000 and then after that 5,000. I'm going to go for 3,000, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, darling, to the power of infinity. So yes, I'm really pleased about that. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's enjoying my content, who listens, shares, takes on board my viewpoints, considers my opinions, and treats the piece of art that I do each week as a substantive piece of political commentary. So thank you for that. Do also make a donation at deniseheadley.com, which is my website, or you can go to my YouTube channel and you can donate there. I'm very partial to 3 Wings and Chips, or you may have a restaurant that you want me to frequent and you would like to buy the whole selection of the starters, mains, drinks, and any accoutrements at the side. I would just be so happy to do that on your behalf. So let's jump into this question once again, which is, would you trust a man to take the male pill and be in charge of your conception? And if I was asking that question, the short answer is no, I wouldn't. However, that is something that we need to consider. And yes, I've given you my opinion straight out of the bat. Now, the reason I thought I could bring this particular topic to you this week is because I was listening to Sheila Fogarty. I think it was on Tuesday, or was it Monday? Anyway, last week, and she was earlier on in the week, should I say, and she was discussing the question of this new trial that has taken place with 16 individuals, and they have taken a hormone suppressing oral daily tablet which suppresses the production of seminal fluid. Well, not seminal fluid, but the active ingredient within seminal fluid. It reduces the sperm count. That's right, that's what it does. So a new hormone-free contraceptive pill for men, YCT529, has successfully completed its first human safety trial, showing promising results with no significant side effects. It has been reported, and I'm reading this article from Times of India. The experimental male birth control pill has successfully placed its first human trial. 16 male participants aged between 32 and 59 who had previously undergone vasectomies, a precaution to eliminate any risk of unintended pregnancy, participated in the trial. The study, published in Communications Medicine, was designed to test safety and how the drug behaves in the body, not its effectiveness in preventing pregnancy, but instead its effectiveness at reducing sperm count. Side effects included changes to heart rate, mood disturbances, and issues with libido. YCT529 is hormone-free, and it targets a protein called retinoic acid receptor alpha, which plays a critical role in sperm production. It blocks this receptor and stops sperm being produced, similar to removing a key from a lock, preventing the whole reproductive process from starting. So if you are a man, how do you feel about your hormones being altered so that you are able to engage in coitus and not produce functional sperm? How does that idea strike you as something you'd like to participate in? Don't all rush to the mic. No commercial licenses have been issued for this drug. However, trials are promising and experimental approaches are underway. So my thinking is this. Now, anyone who knows anything about contraceptives completely understands that contraceptives are designed by men for women's bodies so that men can enjoy the full gambit of penetrative intercourse without any of the concerns of reproduction. So for argument's sake, women take the pill, which alters their hormone and alters the production of eggs and estrogen and prevents a pregnancy that way. Women also can use things such as the diaphragm, the coil. They have these rods also that can go into your arm. And the vast majority of these things are internal apparatus which women either ingest, insert, or have permanently placed inside them so that the experience is uninterrupted for the man in terms of concerning himself with whether or not that person's going to become pregnant. Now, with this particular contraceptive development, men could potentially consider taking a daily oral pill which prevents them from providing active sperm. And how do you feel about that? I mean, I have men who listen to my show, so I'd be really interested to hear what their thoughts are. But how do you feel about the idea of effectively delegating, outsourcing that particular responsibility to the male person in your life that you may be having a sexual relationship with? And I think that's a really interesting concept. How do men feel about taking something that alters their hormones? And also, how do women feel about outsourcing the responsibility? I know from my own personal experience, because I'm a mother, I would not feel confident with giving a man the responsibility of controlling whether or not I conceive, because men, no, I'm not saying all men are like that, but essentially when a woman houses a new life, she usually does that all in the way until she meets the grave. I mean, okay, you're not inside for, the vast majority of the time that you're on earth, but you continue to be a mother. You work in that way. You're there, you're mothering, you're parenting, you're supporting throughout life. I'm not saying fathers aren't like that, but fathers often have the chance to walk away. Mothers don't have the chance to walk away. So therefore, given that that's probably one of the longest relationships you're ever going to have in your entire life, if you have the opportunity to be a parent, would you then, knowing the longevity of that, knowing all the implications of that, would you then say, I'm giving that to a man to be responsible for? I mean, do you trust, is the trust there significant enough for that to be the case? Or is it that the conditioning of our society says to me as a woman, don't allow that choice to be made by somebody else? And the corollary of that is, if you are a man, if you think about the types of contraceptives that are available to men for men to exercise the control over whether they become parents or fathers, how do you feel about being able to take a tablet that you can take over a course of a number of years, and then according to the trials, limited as they are, it is reversible. So your sperm count could return to its normal levels once you no longer are using the tablet. How do you feel about that? Is that something that makes you feel a man more able to control whether or not you're ready to want to become a parent with somebody? Or does that give you more opportunities to have more sexual encounters without the prospect of making those women pregnant? So I think it's quite an interesting conversation. And while I was delving deep into this, I came across lots of other information which I'm going to share with you, which probably you would, who knows, you might not have had the ideas of thinking about this stuff, because I certainly didn't until I was listening to the Sheila Fogarty show talking about the male contraceptive pill. Just as a sidebar, did you know that there's quite a few different types of male pill that's on the market, which creates hormonal changes in men so that they don't produce active sperm. That YCT529, oh my God, I remembered all of those numbers. I'm so happy with myself. Is not the only one. There's something called beta-methyl-19. Can you listen to this name? Beta-methyl-19 nos-testosterone dodlecliner carbonate. Gosh, that's a mouthful. And this works similar to the one that changes your hormone, but it said that larger studies are needed, and it's to test the long-term safety and reversibility of this particular type of daily oral pill. So that's another one in relation to the YCT529. Also, the University of Minnesota has created something called a non-hormonal pill, and this targets retinoic acid, which is essential for sperm production, and it actually reduces pregnancy, according to them, by 99%, and it has full reversibility within 4 to 6 weeks. And human trials began in 2023. However, this one I thought was interesting. This one is called the DMAU. It's a hormonal androgen progesterone oral agent. And it's required. No, that's not the one. There's one that they have to have it injected. And I thought, my God, that must be so painful. I shouldn't laugh. Where is it gone? I'm trying to find it. This is a serious topic, Denise. I know, but then sometimes when you learn stuff and you think, oh my God, that sounds really, really painful. But I just wanted to bring it to you. I just got to find it. Hold on. Sorry, it took me a while to find it. These are the injectable male contraceptives that are available. There's a polymer gel, and it's injected into the vas deferens. This is the duct that is cut in a vasectomy, and it kills or disables sperms as they pass through. So can you imagine? It's like a net, and as the little baby sperms pass through, they're just like mullered, like pew, 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 and it lasts for 10 years, but it's reversible. I'm just wondering if some of these treatments are developed in relation to male castration in prisons. That must be interesting. I didn't ask ChatGPT about that, but yeah, there's that one, and I thought to myself, it was developed by someone called Dr. Sujoy Gua, and I thought that was really interesting. It's been licensed to UK-based Prometheus Foundation, and where it's being developed as a Vagus gel. Wow, awaiting final approval in India. The other one that I found is this one called it's testosterone and progesterone injections, and this is monthly injections, and it's studied by the WHO. That's a little suspect. The side effects are mood swings, acne, and depression. And I thought that was interesting, but because I wasn't even thinking about this subject, I obviously came across information that I don't usually come across, and excuse my cackling, but just the idea of having something injected and lasting for 10 years is just, it just makes me want to run for the hills. But, back to the fundamental questions, aside from my added bits of detail, would you as a man consider taking a male pill to prevent pregnancy, because it doesn't prevent sexually transmitted diseases? It would reduce your sperm count, and then at a later date, would you be happy to see that removed, and it affects you hormonally? And women in the space, would you be happy to outsource the control of conception to a man? I think that's it for this evening, and I'm going to cut it right there. Thank you for listening, giving me your 2 pence, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget to make a donation also at denisehedley.com and cut. Should I actually say cut, given we were talking about vasectomies? Probably not. And cut! Ow! See you next week.